It's Money Monday, a segment here at 4 o'clock where we talk about easy to understand ways to navigate our finances. We do it with the help of financial expert Paul Hood from Hood CPAs. Paul, we have three great questions that came in over this past week, and we start this afternoon with Mike. Mike says, why is the deadline to contribute to your Roth IRA for 2021 extended beyond the new year? Is it a smart idea to make the additional contribution?
So, yeah, Mike, every year, even though the contribution would get the tax deduction or report it on the tax return or have it count for 2021, we have until the extended due date of the tax return, so until April unless you extend it. So you can make a Roth contribution, you can make a traditional IRA contribution, still take a tax deduction for it, even though you're not making it in 2021. That's always been that way. And it's just to encourage people and to allow us to do planning. And we can draft up, Brian, we can draft up your tax return and say, Brian, you're going to owe this, but if you put money into an IRA, traditional IRA, you can get a tax deduction for it and lower your taxes. So it gives us some planning.
Now on that, if you have already maxed the contribution number, can you then for like next year, this month, start adding in that money, or do you have to wait till the first of the year?
Yeah, no, so you can, as long as the vendor, the financial institution will allow you to earmark this is for 2021, 2022, you can. So either way, but that part of making it early is generally, strangely enough, they frown on it a little bit, but it's because you get earnings for a longer period of time. But if you're a financial institution will accept it, go for it.
Okay, sounds good. Cole wrote in saying, I receive a W-2 wage along with a 1099. I work remotely and as well as travel for his business, and he's considering buying an RV to work and travel out of. Paul, can that be used as a deduction as RV?
So it depends on which side of the coin he uses it for. If it's used for his job, no. What that's called is an unreimbursed employee business expense, and those are no longer deductible. A few years ago, they were deductible. If you were a welder and you were, traveling all over the place and you got paid as an employee, you could still deduct those things as unreimbursed employee business expenses. Can't do that anymore. But if he's got a 1099 for another, so a 1099 means he's self-employed or is a subcontractor, and there's a profit intent, and we can match those up. He can deduct it against that income.
Okay, I want an RV.
Yeah.
Anthony writes in saying, I'm starting a window shutter business. I want to know if I should take out a startup loan or do side jobs to pay for the startup costs of that business. Thoughts there?
So yeah, there is a difference between debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Obviously, if you can do it as a side hustle and create the revenue and then and create enough success on your side hustle and his window shutter business to then quit his business, that's the best way to go, because debt, it hamstrings you. Now, if there's a massive expansion, or if he has the opportunity to buy a business and take leaps forward, big leaps forward, then borrowing money to do it. But for a startup, generally, that puts a lot of pressure on the startup business. So if it's at all possible, absolutely don't borrow the money and do it as a side hustle.
All right, sounds good. Great advice today. Always good to see you. If you have a financial question that you'd like for us to chat about next week, you can send in your question just like they did to moneymonday@griffin.news.